Hey BookTube, it's Charlie from Reader Turned Writer, and today I am doing the mid-year check-in tag. This is different than the mid-year freakout tag that's been going around that I've seen everybody do, because I'm way late doing this because it's way past the mid-year checkpoint, but I saw Kelly at Cozy Reader Kelly do this video and I wanted to do it as well. I liked it more than the freakout tag one. Also, there's construction going on right across the road, so you can probably hear at least some of it, and they're like developing a road out there, so it's been going on like 24/7, so sorry. So the first question is, how many books have you read this year? And I have read 72 books. I am 3 behind on my Goodreads reading challenge, so. Question number 2 is, what is your favorite book you've read so far this year? This one's really hard. It's hard to choose a favorite. One that I really enjoyed was A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. That was one of my favorite books that I've read this year. Another one was a middle grade book called The Penderwicks, and I really enjoyed that one. I just barely finished it last month and I absolutely adored it. Question 3 is, what is the most disappointing book you've read this year? For this one I chose Benny and the Bank Robber by Mary C. Finley, and it was like a Christian action book that was just on my phone. I must have gotten it for free somewhere, but it was probably the worst book that I've read this year. It was just not well written, the plot was weird, the character development was like way jumpy and unrealistic and unbelievable, and I don't even know why I finished it. I should have DNF'd it probably, but it was so bad, and right after reading it, I was like, well, that wasn't too bad, but the more I look back on it, the more I'm like, man, that was such a bad book. Question 4 is, what genre have you read the most this year? So I have read a lot of self-help parenting type books. That's probably the highest. But if you're talking about fiction, then the most I've read is fantasy. Question 5, name an author that you've discovered this year. For this one, I'm actually going to go with Patrick Ness. I haven't read any more of his books, but I'm really excited to get to his books because I really liked When a Monster Calls so much that I want to read more of his books, and I've heard that all of his books are really fantastic. Another one is E.L. Konigsberg. I read a couple of her books this year. I'll link them down below. I know one of them is called The View from Saturday. The other one is kind of a long, weird name. I can't remember what it's called for some reason. I never can remember in the video. But I really enjoyed both of them, and I want to read more by her as well, although I have heard that some of her other books aren't quite as good, so we'll see when I get to them. What's the most surprisingly good book you've read this year? And for this one, I actually am going to pick Scythe. And the reason I say it was surprisingly good for me is because I feel like I read quite a few hyped up YA type books this year from BookTube and been very disappointed with them, but Scythe exceeded my expectations and I really enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to. Question 7, what are your favorite and most anticipated releases for the rest of 2018? And I am really looking forward to Brandon Sanderson's, what is it called, Skyward. I think he also has another novella coming out. I'm pretty sure he has a novella coming out at the end of this summer, and then in November Skyward's coming out. And the novella he has coming out is the last one of the Legion series. And I really like the Legion series, and I'm really excited to see what Brandon Sanderson does with sci-fi. So I really can't wait for both of those. Question 8, what's your next big priority for your reading? So I recently did a couple of really big book hauls, and so I want to read through those. I also want to make progress on my 2018 TBR list because I haven't read as many of those as I should have at this point. I am not halfway done. I don't think I'm going to get to all of them this year. Question 9, what's been your biggest bookish highlight of the year so far? And that was probably when my husband and I went to Barnes & Noble on our anniversary. We went back to Orem, the place that we lived as newlyweds, and we went to the Barnes & Noble that we used to go to all the time as newlyweds, and it was just really fun to go book shopping with him and to buy some new books in person because that's not something that I get to do a lot, and to be with my husband doing it. Question 10 is, who do you tag? I'm not actually going to tag anyone because it is already like the end of July. So if you haven't done a mid-year check-in and this tag looks fun to you, then go ahead and consider yourself tagged by me. But otherwise, maybe do it next year, I don't know. If you have done a mid-year check-in tag or the freak out tag, I'd love to go watch it, so just let me know in the comments below and then I'll go find it and watch it. Thanks for watching my video. I will see you in the next one.